Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about specifically Andrew Yang and how Andrew Yang should consider entertainment, the entertainment industry of the American entertainment industry, as the new American steel, right? And specifically, and once he has done that, he should really consider very carefully how specific laws are managed around the entertainment industry. Tariffs, all kinds of different tariffs, taxes, zoning, labor laws around those things, and even trade agreements with other international organizations. And so essentially, to be clear, America has a history of handling American steel, a very, the number one export product that America had for a long time, right? Which really transformed our economy. And the government was always very, very closely attached to that industry, right? And it was not hands off. It was very hands on because America, the American government, understood that American steel was critical to the success of the American nation, and that entertainment has become the new American steel. It is the export to the world that truly matters, all right? Now, that's a significant statement. Let me back that up with some relevant facts, all right? All right, so one, I want to talk about Disney. Disney is having success at a level in entertainment worldwide and certainly at the U.S. national level that is completely unprecedented. 1 week ago, in one weekend, Disney released at Comic-Con Marvel Phase 4. It absolutely dominated Twitter. It caught the attention of the entire worldwide press. It was covered internationally, okay? That's one thing that happened a week ago over the weekend. In addition to that, on that very same weekend, Disney had Avengers Endgame, a Disney film, go over Avatar, John Carpenter's Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, to become the number one grossing film in history, right? So Avengers Endgame is now the number one grossing movie in history. Nothing even comes close, right? Well, actually, James Cameron's Avatar does come close, but it dwarfs almost every other film. And it has surpassed James Cameron's Avatar film, and that's on the same weekend they released Marvel Phase 4, right? And that wasn't all. In the exact same weekend, they premiered The Lion King 2019 live-action version of The Lion King. It broke every record within its time slot, right? So it became the number one live-action Disney. It became the number one of all the Disney live-actions. It broke every single record, and there was like half a dozen before it, right? And it became the number one Disney title in history, right? If you take out Marvel and Star Wars, right? It's absolutely incredible. They were so full of win on that weekend. They owned that weekend. Like, they absolutely owned coverage. It was all Disney all the time on that one weekend. And the reality is Disney is just absolutely dominating entertainment right now. And they're winning at a level that's never really been seen anywhere in the world, right? Or in history, right? It's an unprecedented level of win. One last fact about Disney. Disney has 6 of the top 10 all-time films for box office growth. It is staggering, right? Now, this is media. This is entertainment. This is content that America is creating and exporting to the world, okay? Now, I want to talk a little bit about, and we need to remember that. So just put that on a shelf. Keep that there. Keep your eyes on it for a minute, all right? So American steel, all right? Iron or coal, right? In order to create steel, you need iron ore and coal, okay? And in order to create American steel, right? Now, today, American steel is no big deal, right? Steel's made all over the world. But between like 1840 and 1940, steel really mattered in America and to a huge effect, to a huge amount. And the U.S. government paid very, very close attention to it. And it was very careful about tariffs. It was very careful about trade agreements. It was very careful about taxes. And it was very careful about zoning. And it was very careful about labor, right? And there were laws that were created by the Congress, right? By the Senate and the House. There were laws that were prompted by the president, right? That affected all of our politics, all of our culture, and all of our society, right? And the reason why was every president knew that you could not allow American steel to just run off willy-nilly. It couldn't fail, and at the same time, the profits connected to it were so powerful that you could not allow it to go unchecked, right? And so my point today is that we have a history of recognizing industries that are incredibly powerful, and then the government increasing its oversight of those industries and being very careful to manage both the success and to manage the possibility of too much success and to manage the possibility of too much failure. And it is my opinion right now that we have reached that point with American entertainment. The entertainment industry is absolutely massive. It is our true export, right? Nothing we export in America is more important than our entertainment exports. And honestly, the idea of a tangible export today is ludicrous. We export virtually nothing that is tangible in America today that matters one iota, right? And I know I'm fully aware that that there are tariffs on steel, and that's affecting how expensive our cars are, and like that, that Trump is making a lot of gestures around American steel, around manufacturing, and all those kind of things. That's all optics. None of it matters. Absolutely nothing tangible in America matters at the macro level. It is all optics, right? The reality is America has left creating tangible goods behind, and our true exports are technology and entertainment. And it is my opinion that entertainment is far more important than the technology we're exporting, okay? Far more important. And and I'll give you a little more reason. So I talked about Disney. It's not just Disney. Even our old content, the numbers surrounding old television shows in America are absolutely staggering, okay? And this is more evidence that the numbers are so high and that there is so much at stake with American entertainment that it truly needs to be understood as the new American steel, and it needs to be processed and handled as American steel was handled between 1840 and 1940, right? And so Andrew Yang, in my opinion, will need to be very, very careful, and will need to apply a new processing tool, a new method around, specifically around American entertainment, and acknowledging it fully as an important part of American history, and really acknowledging that it needs to be, all these laws around it need to be very, very carefully monitored. There should be teams around every single one of those things: tariff, trade agreements, taxes, zoning, labor, all of it, right? American entertainment needs to be absolutely surrounded by the government, and their freedom needs to be preserved, right? But the idea that industry is a minor industry is absurd. So let's talk about companies beyond Disney, all right? So specifically, I'm going to talk about Friends and Seinfeld. Now, why on earth should I talk about two old, very old sitcoms? Well, the numbers around them are absolutely staggering, okay? So Friends is an incredibly important show, okay? I was shocked to learn this a long time ago. This was a while ago. I worked for a different company, and they had call centers, and one of the things that they talked about was that in these call centers, Friends was used specifically by the employees. They would listen to Friends to learn the American language, right? And it was literally part of their curriculum, right? So when you talk about an export, Friends is a huge export. It carries our language, it carries our clothes, it carries our cadence, it carries our motions, it carries our styles. It's incredibly powerful, right? And so already the political, cultural, and social impacts of the show Friends goes way beyond the U.S. and actually very much impacts politics, culture, and society in other countries. An old sitcom from America massively impacts politics, culture, and society in other countries. That is incredible. That is incredible. All right, now, I hear you're like, are you sure about that, Scott? Are you sure that the show Friends is that important? Yes, I am. And hear me now, okay? Now, pretty much everything I just talked about, same thing goes for Seinfeld. Seinfeld and Friends are on a track, okay? So Friends just got pulled from one member of FANG, okay? FANG is a special stock market grouping. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, right? These are some of the biggest, most important stocks in the world. The New York Stock Exchange, now people at the New York Stock Exchange frequently use the word FANG, right? To just indicate these different companies, right? Netflix is losing Friends, right? The company that bought Friends, and so that, at the end, you'll be able to see Friends all the way through 2019. In 2020, you'll no longer be able to see Friends on Netflix. That deal cost $500 million, $500 million to rent Friends for 5 more years. I think it went to like one of these streaming sites. It might have been Universal streaming site. I can't remember exactly who bought Friends, but one company paid almost close to $500 million for Friends, right? Just a year or two ago, Seinfeld had the same deal. I'm sorry. So Seinfeld is going through the same deal and is fully $500 million. People are paying $500 million for 5 years for each show, right? So these shows are getting $100 million a year just to serve as a rerun on one streaming service. $500 million. That is a huge amount of money, right? And that is just one old rerun, right? And so every time you make a new show today, right? Some new sitcom, right? You think you might be just making a sitcom, but the reality is that could spin out billions of dollars for decades, right? And that's the power of American entertainment. It is so powerful, so far-reaching that it can no longer be pretending that we can't pretend that these industries are minor industries within America and should have free reign. They need oversight exactly the same way American steel had oversight between 1840 and 1940. All that is my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you think I'm right or wrong on this? Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.